New York Liberty head coach Sandy Brondello has been fired. I think we need to make a move to get Sammy Brondello to the Indiana Fever, man. I think this is Sammy Brondello with Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin Clark literally traded for her at the All-Star game. I'll show you the one reason the Clark-Brondello duo is terrifying the WNBA.
She's a great player. It would have been good for our craft to see her, but hopefully they get to see her after post-All-Star. You get to play them again. As for the All-Star, I'm excited to get to know her a little bit. I think that's the part of the All-Star. It's going to coach players that you haven't coached before and get them to know them a little bit and enjoy the whole celebration.
We're analyzing the game tape and the league's political agenda in 8 minutes. You're sick of watching the Fever underperform despite having the GOAT. The WNBA offseason brought a shockwave that reset the entire league. Just days after a stunning first-round playoff loss, the New York Liberty announced that head coach Sandy Brondello's contract would not be renewed.
The New York Liberty have let go Sandy Brondello. Well, in their terms, they will not renew her contract. In our eyes, they parted ways. She was fired, essentially.
The immediate visceral public reaction from stars like Breanna Stewart, who posted an unfiltered "What the F?" told the real story.
What would you say to those who question whether Sandy should be here next year to coach you guys again?
What the fuck?
This was not a mutual parting. This was a front office failure, where a championship-winning coach was deemed disposable. Let's clarify the business decision. The Liberty did not fire Brondello and swallow a massive buyout. They simply let her contract expire. This highlights a fundamental problem in the WNBA, a lack of long-term security for even the most successful coaches. Brondello delivered the franchise's first title, yet operated on an expiring deal. The organization chose a short-term financial saving over long-term stability and player morale, sending a clear, cold message to the entire coaching landscape. Success is not a shield.
2 WNBA championships, and the year before, in 2023, won the Eastern Conference title. I mean, what are we doing? She's got a .600 winning percentage and a ton of experience.
Liberty General Manager Jonathan Kolb stepped in with a justification that instantly became a WNBA talking point. He said the decision was not punitive, nor was it reactive, but it's instead rooted in being proactive.
At the outset, I think it's really important that I stress and emphasize that this decision was in no way punitive, nor was it reactive, but it's instead rooted in being proactive.
His final damning phrase was this:
Ultimately, we determined that evolution and innovation is what is needed at this time.
Let's break down that corporate speak. Evolution and innovation is a hollow excuse for jettisoning the winningest coach in franchise history. Kolb even revealed he considered firing her after they won the championship the previous season. He said, "A coaching change was very much under consideration last season. We won the championship, but it's not about the end result." This is the ultimate indictment, an organization so fixated on an idea of how the game should be played that they disregard the actual tangible result of a title. The intangible cost is immeasurable.
Just saw this news and I went, what the bleep? Literally, audibly out of my mouth, what the F?
Brondello cultivated a player-coach culture of high trust. She was a stabilizing force for a team built of strong personalities. The front office's decision directly undermined that culture. Now, with Breanna Stewart and Natasha Cloud facing contract decisions, the front office must deal with the optics of publicly disrespecting the coach the players admired. You don't build a dynasty by telling your superstars you know better than they do about leadership. The loss of Brondello makes the Liberty's path to a sustainable dynasty far rockier, and it has gifted the rest of the league, and specifically the Fever, a strategic advantage. The moment Caitlin Clark drafted Sandy Brondello as her all-star coach was a public televised signal of approval. Brondello's willingness to treat Clark as a co-collaborator, even giving her the clipboard, is what Clark craves. Clark is a force of nature who needs a coach who maximizes her pace and volume, not one who attempts to fit her into a static mold.
I think Sandy Brondello is the best option for us to get the Caitlin Clark of Iowa. Bring in Sandy. Bring in Sandy and it's going to be showtime, because I believe if you get Sandy, Sabrina Ionescu is a free agent. Breanna Stewart is a free agent. We talking big business now. We talking big boy stuff.
To understand Brondello, you must look at her tenure in Phoenix with Diana Taurasi. Brondello's system is built on two core tenets: pace and superstar freedom. Brondello has said, being a former player, you liked it when you're in a situation when you knew the coach believed in you, gave you the confidence to play your game, and didn't put you in a box. She is a coach who encourages players to read defenses well and can make the decision whether she's open to shoot the ball, not or pass it. This is the direct opposite of a restrictive set play offense. It's the blueprint for unleashing Caitlin Clark's creativity in the half court and the open court. This is a fundamental strategic divergence. Brondello's teams are known for maximizing possessions. Her championship Mercury teams consistently ranked high in offensive pace. Her Liberty teams, despite star power, had the 5th highest pace in her title year. By contrast, the Fever under the previous regime were consistently in the bottom half of the league in pace. Clark's entire identity is rooted in pushing the ball and hunting transition threes. Brondello's system is a perfect incubator for a historically fast-paced guard. Brondello's key is not absence of coaching, but freedom within structure. The structure comes from the non-negotiables: elite defense, commitment to pace, and ball movement. The freedom is given to the primary creators: Clark, Aaliyah Boston. Brondello's husband and assistant coach, Olaf Lang, highlighted her emotional intelligence. Because she's been on the inside, she knows what type of conversation is probably taking place in the locker room. Now she can navigate that. This is the superstar whisperer quality Clark needs, a coach who understands the internal pressure and harnesses it, rather than crushing it. Brondello coached Brittany Griner for 8 seasons in Phoenix, leading them to a title. Griner and Aaliyah Boston are different players, but the philosophy of center utilization is consistent: force the defense to decide. Brondello aims to put her dominant center in positions for one-on-one coverage, or, if the defense traps, to exploit that in overload situations. With Clark's elite three-point gravity, a Brondello-coached Boston would operate more often in the high post and short roll, using Clark's drive or pass to create easy reads. The offense flows through the center, not just to her. Kelsey Mitchell is one of the WNBA's purest scorers, a high-volume, quick-trigger guard. Under the previous regime, her shots often came in isolation, a necessary evil for a bad team. Brondello's history with secondary guards, like Betnijah Laney and, in a way, Leilani Mitchell in Phoenix, suggests a much more efficient role. Brondello molded Betnijah Laney into an all-defensive second-team player whose offense was built on timely, efficient catches from superstar gravity. Mitchell would become the ultimate beneficiary of the Clark/Boston pick-and-roll, receiving wide-open kickouts on the wing, drastically increasing her shot quality and efficiency. Brondello's system demands the secondary star buy into a lower, more selective usage rate. Brondello's mantra is, don't get stuck in a box. You're a basketball player, so play accordingly to what you bring to the team. Her teams are truly positionless. She had Breanna Stewart initiating the offense. For the Fever, this means Nalissa Smith can operate more on the perimeter, creating spacing. It means the offense isn't solely Clark's responsibility. Every player is expected to handle, pass, and shoot. This raises the floor of the entire supporting cast, turning rotation players into valuable two-way pieces. Brondello's consistent message to her players is, never too high, never too low. This emotional regulation is critical for a young team facing the immense pressure of the Clark phenomenon. Her coaching goes beyond X's and O's. It's about emotional intelligence, fostering an environment where a young star can fail in front of the world and immediately know her coach still trusts her. This culture savant aspect is the non-negotiable ingredient for turning talent into a dynasty. Stephanie White, the current coach of the Indiana Fever, is a respected championship-level coach and a former Fever player. Her reaction to Brondello's firing was genuine.
Just, disappointed obviously for Sandy. She's a great coach, great human being. And of course, in our profession, you hate to see that.
This is not a malicious rivalry. It is a professional crossroads. White took a challenging rebuilding job and achieved significant milestones, including a Coach of the Year award. White's strength is pure development and team building from the ground up, demonstrated by her success in the college ranks and early Fever days. Brondello's strength is maximizing elite talent and winning championships now. The Fever is no longer a development team. It is a revenue engine and a contender in waiting. The question shifts from, can this coach make us competitive, to, can this coach win us a championship? Brondello's 2 rings are the unassailable answer. The impact of each coach on role players tells a hidden story. Under Brondello's liberty, players like Betnijah Laney flourished into all-defensive talents, while other deep bench players, while not getting heavy minutes, were constantly ready for their moment. The knock on Brondello is often her tight playoff rotation. The challenge for White has been to develop a roster with limited veteran talent. While the Fever roster has high upside, the question is how quickly White can turn raw potential into championship quality. Brondello's track record is faster and more decisive in getting established stars to raise the ceiling immediately. Lynn Dunn is the Hall of Fame general manager of the Fever, responsible for the entire vision. She drafted Aaliyah Boston and Caitlin Clark and won the franchise's only title as a coach in 2012. She has recently transitioned to a senior advisor role, but the coaching decision is her legacy. Historical precedent. Dunn has a history of making tough calls, having been the first coach/GM of the Seattle Storm, drafting Lauren Jackson and Sue Bird before abruptly resigning. Her philosophy? Great talent makes great coaches. You've got to find it, you've got to recruit it, you've got to sign it. Brondello is the final piece of that talent recruitment, 80 to 85, the crisis of the White firing. Stephanie White is a Fever legend, a former player, and a beloved figure who was hired to lead the rebuilding process. The firing of White to hire Brondello would be the most difficult personal and political decision of Dunn's career. It's a move that says, thank you for the rebuild, but you are not the closer. The pressure from the ownership, the Simon family, to maximize the Clarkonomics is now absolute, forcing Dunn's hand to prioritize a champion-level coach over loyalty to a team pioneer. And here's where the plot thickens. Because as soon as news broke, fans didn't just react with anger. They reacted with excitement. Why? Because they instantly connected the dots. What if Sandy Brondello came to Indiana? What if she became Caitlin Clark's coach? What if the brightest young star in basketball that was paired with one of the greatest basketball minds of our time? Twitter exploded. Fever fans flooded the timeline, and the vision became clear. Caitlin Clark plus Sandy Brondello equals dynasty. WNBA Commissioner Kathy Engelbert has stated that while no league is ever about one player, Caitlin Clark's impact is undeniable, bringing tens of millions of new viewers. The league office has a vested interest in the Fever's success. A poorly coached Fever team that wastes Clark's initial years is bad for the entire WNBA. The league's subtle pressure favors the move that ensures the Fever become an immediate dynasty, and that move is hiring the most proven championship coach available. For the Indiana Fever, this is a once-in-a-generation alignment of circumstances. The greatest generational talent, a new arena, massive revenue, and a 2-time WNBA champion coach suddenly available due to an ownership miscalculation. The stars have aligned for the Fever to stop waiting for next year and win now. The hiring of Brondello is not just a basketball decision. It's an organizational statement. It tells Clark, we believe you are the best, and we are paying the price for the best coach to maximize you. It tells the league, the Indiana Fever is now a super franchise. The immense pressure from the millions of new fans is now on Herb Simon and his management team. They cannot afford to make a safe, cheap, or internal hire. The Clark era demands a splash of equivalent magnitude. The narrative closes by returning to the raw potential of Clark, Boston, and Mitchell under a Brondello system. It's an offense that moves faster, spreads the floor wider, and most importantly, trusts its stars implicitly. The Brondello-Clark destiny is not just a hopeful pairing, it is a tactical inevitability, and the only choice that fully justifies the unprecedented financial and cultural moment of the Indiana Fever. The Fever must now decide if they are ready to seize the